from tenanted, enlisted and on the market in 2 weeks. Guys, my name's Adriano from Collins Real Estate. I'm here to show you today how I'm gonna get this old tenanted property fixed, painted, new carpets, and on the market and live in 2 weeks and book in an auction date for the end of March. So I want to take you through today and show you exactly, and I've literally just listed the property from my landlord, so they are located interstate. I actually haven't seen this property other than a few photos, and I'm actually going to take you through and walk you through exactly what I do to show them and show you what I pick up in order to get the property ready for market. So the first thing you'll notice, it is a part of a group of 3 units, right? So that generally means that it's part of a body corporate. Normally what I would do is like really tidy up the front. Things like this thing here, people are gonna say, what the hell is this from, Adriano? Well, there was a water leak, which I'll show you upstairs. Let's go through and actually check it out. All right, so the first thing I generally do is turn on all the lights, and I make sure that everything's working at the same time. So as you walk in, the first thing that most buyers want to see is a nice, clean entry hall. When you look down here, it's very, very obvious that there's quite a lot of marks on the walls. So my advice to the owner is going to be, at the very minimum, we need to paint all the entry walls, right? Through here is the bedroom. So this one's actually got a pretty cool floor plan, bedroom downstairs and upstairs. First thing I notice, again, entry-level builder's range carpet that was done probably in around 2012, 2013. There is no way he's going to be able to bring this up. So I already see that there's quite a few stain marks, even imprint marks like this, that have had furniture there for God knows how long. That's not going to come up. The other thing I'm probably going to mention to the owner is we at least recarpet this bedroom. And I'll also do inside the robe. So you'll see in here, there's a piece of carpet inside the robe. So they'll do that as well. Like, there's already big dents and scuff marks all around. Like, looking at all the walls, looking at all the holes, we're probably gonna have to paint the whole room downstairs. First thing I also noticed, and I knew, so with the water leak from the balcony, you'll see that they've patched it up, but done a pretty bodgy patch job. So we're more than likely now, we're gonna have to patch this whole roof again, and then we'll paint this. So it effectively will look brand new. And then I also check things like, for instance, in here, I'll make sure that all the blinds are operational, which they are. I'll make sure that anything like this, I'll ask if that's staying. If it's going, then obviously we'll have to patch and paint this wall as well. I then check taps to make sure that the taps actually work, which they do. Things like cupboards, make sure that they're actually not loose, which they're not, which is great. Showers are important, twofold. One, my pet peeve is when shower bases get really, really moldy. This one is not. But when you see mold build up around the edges and you see that mold come through, I generally get that resealed. So we can tick that off. Even things like that, that'll come off. We'll patch and paint that lot. Can't have that. All right, so in here, so this will all be cleared out. Then I'll start to look at these walls. Okay, I think garage. How much value is that going to add to a potential purchaser? Generally speaking, with garages, probably not a lot, unless there are holes or really big damage marks on walls. I generally tell my investors it's probably an area that you don't have to necessarily spend the money. You can save that and bank that to put towards other things that you may need to do. And then looking at stuff like this, like that's just fluff. That'll come off. If the tenant doesn't clean that, my amazing cleaner Michael will fix that up. Again, looking overall, the walls are actually in pretty good nick. Here, I'm probably going to recommend to the owner, don't do anything. And then I'll check things like to make sure that the garage works. Of course, that's actually important. It's operating pretty good, goes all the way out. We'll make that go back down. Yep, let's head on up the stairs. So we've pretty much said downstairs is gonna need to be painted. That's another area that I'm probably gonna tell the owner that we're gonna need to do. We're gonna probably need to paint the wall. And even little things like this. So these little scuff marks and dent marks inside wood, it's one thing that buyers see when they touch things and feel things. It's very obvious, so I think we'll probably give that a bit of a touch up. I get my bearings around. The first thing that smacks me in the face is this beautiful architectural ceiling, which is pretty awesome. It drags your eyes up the top. Again, areas like this is going to go. That's going to make massive holes, okay? And when you look at all the other scuff marks that you'll see all along this wall, this whole section will have to get done. Now, my painters are really, really anal with things. So they will look at the wall going, Adriano, I can paint you this wall. However, if I paint this wall, will show up that it's not painted. Same thing if I paint these two walls, this wall will show up as it's not being painted. And obviously, as you can see, we're gonna have to do that anyway. So again, that's an area where I'm going to tell the owners, you know what? It's probably worthwhile we paint all the walls. Get them all done so I can actually advertise when I'm doing my advertising, freshly painted throughout. We don't necessarily need to do like the skirting and stuff because most of the skirting's okay. It probably will just come up with a clean, but my painters will actually go around and do little touch-ups, like I said, the stairwell and stuff. So looking at that wall up there, because it's quite high, unless my painter says, Adriano, we paint that too, I think we could probably get away with not painting that. And then I'll turn on all the lights to make sure I get all the lights on to see whether there's any blown, and they're not, which is another big tick. And then once I've done sort of the overall view, I'll then go into the nitty gritty. So I'll make sure I try and turn on the appliances. Again, because we are selling a property, and as you can see, they all work, which is great. Same thing with the oven, right? As you can see, it needs a really good clean. I'll check the oven to make sure that that's operational. Same thing, so with the tap soap, I'll make sure everything's operational, which it is, seems to be. Again, check the cupboards, so make sure that the cupboards are all good. So I'll do a little bit of a search. Yep, that's okay. That seems pretty good. That's a corner one. Yep. You'll see that they're all sort of marked and stained just against the light. So again, Michael will clean them all to make them sure they look pretty awesome. Same thing with the split system. So I make sure I check the split system, make sure that it actually works. This is a Mitsubishi Electric. They're pretty good, so it's very rare that they don't. Then we'll go outside. The other big thing that, as I said, there was an issue with the balustrade, so they're actually just replaced that now. So you'll see that there. So this is actually brand new. It was only done a couple of weeks ago. And all the old aluminium, that's all gonna go. This will all get cleaned. With the fixing of the waterproofing, they'll reseal the corner. That's the only other thing they've got left in here. And then all the outside here, I've been told from the owners, all gonna be repainted. So it'll all look like brand new, which is pretty cool. We'll go into the bathroom upstairs. This actually got 2 bathrooms, which I think is pretty cool. We'll probably get them painted because again, we're painting everything else. Like you see up the other, see the 2 tones of color? I think they've tried to paint one and left the other one. So again, let's make it all uniform. That towel rail holder is pretty cooked, so we'll get that tightened. Yep, the blinds work pretty well. We don't have to worry about changing blinds. Again, that's gonna save a fair bit of money. I look again in the shower, base looks pretty good. Tapwares looks pretty good. As you can see, the door opens well. The towel rail holder is secure. Tick. Check to make sure that the toilet is good. It flushes. Yep, another tick. Same thing with the tap. Operational, good. Both the lights work in here and the fan, as you can hear. So that doesn't need to be replaced, which is good. And then the final room is the bedroom upstairs. So, this has got that's pretty cool, slider blind. So we'll open it up. So I'll open up just to see natural light because artificial light doesn't really work. The wall, severely marked. It looks like a patch has been done there. Again, my painter will go, Adriano, if I paint this wall here, which needs it anyway, and this wall will stand out. So again, advice to this is probably going to be repainting. And same thing with the carpet here. It's old now. It's gone past its life. It's well over 10 years old. You know, just little things like stain marks, imprint marks, like stain marks. And these imprint marks here, no matter what you do or how good your steam cleaner is, they'll never come out. So these are the things that I would be advising, and I will be advising my investor that we need to fix and service in order to make the property look good. As I said initially, I'll speak to the owner now. I'll give him a rundown. I'll get my tradies out. I've got them booked out actually to come here in an hour. They'll go through and give me a price and everything. I'll get that invoice and quote back to the owner for if he can approve it today. My guys can start effectively tomorrow, and everything here will be done, cleaned, styled, and on the market in 2 weeks. So keep an eye out for it and come out and check the next video, which will be a progress to show you a week in, how quickly we can do things in a week, and then we'll get it on the market and you'll be able to see what the end product looks like. So if you've got a property in Melbourne and you're an investor, whether you're here, interstate or international, and you want to get your home ready for market to maximize your sale price, give myself and the team at Collins a call. Click the link below to learn more. Cheers.